Well, greetings interwebs. Today's recipe is by special request, and this is going to be the most embarrassingly simple thing you could ever make. This is a special request from my daughter, Alicia. She's home from college for the weekend, and I said, hey, can you make me some of this? This is beef stroganoff the easy way. We have egg noodles. These are the ones I tried to do last week, but they were out of at the store. These are the nice extra wide egg noodles. A package of ground beef, pretty straightforward. And the secret ingredient, beef gravy. Yeah, it's kind of a cheater, but it works. And an onion.
Things you wouldn't hear on a cookery show.
Sorry, onions always make me cry because my mother was killed by an onion truck.
So if you wouldn't mind chopping that onion up while I get this ready. This really, like I said, is the most simple recipe you could ever possibly make. And that's kind of been the thing of my channel, is simple recipes. We'll get the meat cooking, and when she gets done with that, we'll throw the onion in with it. So stand by. Okay, we're gonna start cooking. There is just nothing to this. Alicia's done chopping up the onion. We'll just let that cook. I need to boil a pot of water for the noodles. Again, this is the easiest thing you'll ever make. Basically, we just keep stirring the meat up. And this is not the hardest thing in the world to do. The more you stir, the more juice will come out, the more grease. If you don't stir it, it'll clump up, and you really don't want that. You want this all broken up. You can stir it, you can mash it, then you just get it all mixed around, let it cook thoroughly. And once it all starts to cook, then you let it just sit and simmer for a little bit so the onions can get cooked in as well. Okay, so the ground beef has been browned, as I guess they say. It's cooked all the way through, basically. So you want to let it just sit and continue to simmer. All that juice, yeah, that's grease. It's nasty. Okay, so the beef is browned. It's cooked all the way through. It means there's no pink. All that juice is in there, that's grease. Yeah, we're getting rid of that. We're going to drain it out later. But for now, just let it cook. That'll sit and cook in the onions. Get them, I think they call it blanched. Yeah, I'm not a professional cook. But yeah, you see how simple it is. You just let it go. You really can't go wrong with this. Once the water is boiling, then we'll dump in the egg noodles. They cook fairly quickly, and we'll drain them. And any grease that's left in the strainer from the meat, the boiling water from the noodles, we'll get it out for you. See? Win-win. And in case you're wondering, the ground beef, that's 2.86 pounds, is what it says on the package. So it's right at 3 pounds of ground beef. It'll make quite a bit. And what's left, we'll go go back to the college dorms with her for snacks. Because again, big athlete, she eats a lot. I know you're wondering, you didn't put any garlic salt in it. How can you survive? Well, actually, we're going to put the garlic salt here in the water so it'll get into the noodles. just because noodles tend to be kind of bland. This will give them some flavor. The gravy we're putting in the beef, that'll be plenty of flavor for that. So there, that's the answer to that question. I've turned the beef down to low, so it's just simmering while we're still waiting on the water to boil. You can sit and watch water boil, or you can do something exciting. Don't worry, I won't make you wait. Okay, my water is boiling. Got my noodles. It's pretty straightforward. So you pour it back in, let it boil, roughly 10 minutes, it'll be good to go. And then when that's done, we'll get the beef. See, it's really boiled down. All that remains for liquid is all that grease, all that nasty, nasty grease. Now, if you remember, I told you never, never, ever dump grease down the kitchen sink. So here's a bowl with a strainer. We'll pour all of this greasy beef into this strainer. Let the grease run off into the bowl. There. That can just sit and drain. Later, after it cools down and thickens, you just put it in the garbage can. Wipe it out of the bowl, put it in the garbage. Meanwhile, I'll wipe the rest of the grease out of this pan, getting ready for the next step. Okay, the hamburger meat is all nice and drained. Put it back in the skillet. Now, because we're working on nearly 3 pounds of ground beef, we're using the big jar of gravy. Now, if you're cooking for you or just a couple of people or normal people, not giant athletes, they come in small jars. You use maybe a pound, pound and a half of meat. One of these small, this happens to be chicken gravy. It's really good. I don't know if you ever had the Heinz gravy before. It's really delicious. So, while I'm waiting on the noodles to finish, we go ahead and pour in the jar of gravy. Put the stove back on, just on low. And as I said before, I hate waste, so a little rubber spatula. Get all of it out of the jar. There's still quite a bit in it. There we go. Now that's a properly empty jar. Kind of put it in there to get all the rest off of it. Here. Now we'll just mix this around. Well, it's time to drain some noodles. Ooh, that's hot. Oh yeah. And all that water out. Good stuff. Okay, the noodles are all drained. The beef is simmering. Before I do that, you see that? That's grease. That's all grease out of the beef. Do you really want that in your arteries? They can pour that in the garbage a little later after it cools down and starts to kind of congeal a bit. Okay, we just Mix it up. I can shut the flame off now. Now, if you have limited or no cooking abilities whatsoever, you can do this. You saw how easy it was. I browned some beef, I boiled some noodles, and I dumped a jar of gravy in all of it. Ain't none but a thing. Now, of course, some people will say, well, that's not real cooking. You're just opening jars. Yeah, but at the end of it all, look what I've got. A huge pan of very delicious beef stroganoff that I made myself. Yeah, sure. I opened a jar of Heinz gravy instead of making gravy. So what? I cooked the noodles, I cooked the beef, I cut up an onion and cooked with it. And look at this. That is some good eating. So, let's plate it up, shall we? And now for the real test. Plate it up. There's the teenager. So how is it?
It's good.
There you go, folks. Quick, simple, easy, filling, nutritious, quite delicious. Anybody can do this. If there's any questions or comments you'd like to make, please comment below. Let me know. Please, if you would, like, share, subscribe. You know all the little goodies. And be seeing you. Well, greetings, interwebs. It's Editor Hal here. And I just realized I totally forgot to wear my apron through that episode. I was just so happy to have my daughter here. I totally spaced it off. So, I guess next time.